I faced a dog owner's worst nightmare. The HOA president sprayed my service dog in the face, then tried to have him labeled as dangerous and put down. Her excuse? She said he barked too much. The only thing that got tested that day wasn't my dog. It was my willpower, not to end her entire existence. But let me start from the beginning. My name is Jack Dalton. I used to handle dogs that could sniff out a bomb in a sandstorm. Now I handle Teddy, a golden retriever whose deadliest mission is chasing squirrels off the bird feeder. He's my service dog, my anchor when the noise in my head gets too loud. The quiet in our little suburban house was peace I had earned, a peace I thought I'd finally found. But in this neighborhood, peace came with a rule book, and the rule book had a name. Karen Jordan, HOA president, queen of beige siding, dictator of lawn height, grand marshal of mailbox design. To her, a single blade of grass over regulation length was treason. That morning, Teddy and I were on our usual walk. The sun was soft. Sprinklers tapped their rhythm. Teddy stopped to sniff a patch of grass near Mrs. Gable's roses. Leash tight, right by my side, not bothering a soul. Then a delivery truck backfired. Loud, sharp, like a rifle shot. My chest. Locked, shoulders tight. Teddy felt it instantly. One sharp bark. Not aggressive, just a warning. His way of saying, "I'm here, boss. I've got you." Then he pressed his body against my leg, grounding me. My breathing steadied. That bark was enough. But Karen Jordan didn't see it that way. Her front door flew open. She stormed out like a general marching into battle. Pink floral top, permanent. Visor, pinched face, cold eyes. Jack Dalton. Her voice could cut glass. You cannot control that animal. Deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like they taught me. He's a service dog, Karen. He was startled. He is a menace, she declared, loud enough for the whole street. Constantly barking, threatening the peace of this community. Lie. Teddy was quieter than half the yappy purse dogs on the block. But Karen had decided he was guilty, and the truth didn't matter anymore. He barked once. I said evenly, "We're leaving." I tugged Teddy's leash, turned to go. But Karen wasn't finished. She'd spotted her audience. Neighbors peeking through curtains. Old Duke pretending to water his petunias. She had a stage now, and she loved it. "This is your final warning, Mr. Dalton. This community has standards. Word was the HOA audit was coming Friday. Karen needed a win. I was convenient. And then the police car rolled in. Officer Miller, Officer Sanchez, routine patrol. Karen's eyes lit up like Christmas. She waved them down, her voice dripping fake panic. "Officers, thank heavens. This man's vicious animal just lunged at me." My blood turned to ice. "That's not true," I said, steady but sharp. "We were walking away." Miller stepped out. He looked tired. He knew Karen. Everyone did. "What's going on here, folks?" Karen launched into her performance. She spun Teddy into a frothing beast on the verge of attack, painted me as reckless, dangerous. Meanwhile, Teddy sat by my leg, tail thumping softly against the pavement, confused, looking up at me with those eyes that ask, "What did I do wrong, Dad?" I kept my hand on his head, steady, reassuring. Miller and Sanchez listened, stone-faced. They didn't want drama. They didn't want paperwork. They just wanted Karen to shut up and go back inside. "Ma'am," Miller sighed, "it's a dog. On a leash. He seems calm now." "Now?" Karen shrieked. "He's calm because you're here. He needs to be on the dangerous dog registry. Muzzled!" The officers exchanged a glance. Dead end. That's when she did it. While their eyes were off her, while mine were on them, Karen pulled out a small canister. Looked like hairspray. Before I could react, she aimed at Teddy's face. One press. A sharp hiss. A chemical mist hit him straight in the eyes. Teddy yelped, a sound so raw it ripped straight through me. He stumbled, pawing at his face, whining. In pain, I dropped to my knees. "Teddy! Easy, boy! I've got you!" His eyes were red, streaming tears. The stench burned my nose. Not pepper spray. Something chemical. Bitter. Like ammonia mixed with perfume. My rage ignited. White hot. I stood slowly. The world narrowed. It was just me and Karen now. "What did you just do?" I asked. Quiet. Dangerous quiet. The cops froze. They knew that look. They'd seen it before. On men like me in darker places. Karen's smile was smug. "I was defending myself. It's citronella spray. Perfectly harmless." "Harmless," Teddy whimpered, rubbing his face in the grass. Officer Sanchez shoved a saline. Bottle into my hand. "Flush his eyes. Now!" I did. Hands steady. Voice shaking with fury. "She just assaulted my service animal," I said, my eyes locked on Karen. "In front of you." Miller stepped in. Sharp. "Ma'am, hand over the canister." Sanchez keyed his radio. "Note, interfering with a service dog is a crime. We're logging this as evidence." Karen reluctantly handed it over, her face sour. Miller sealed it in an evidence bag. Later, the lab would prove it wasn't citronella. It was capsaicin concentrate. And yet Karen still hissed, "He is the problem here, officer." I'm the victim. That's what she said. That's what she wanted on record. I pulled out my phone, took her picture, took the cops, took Teddy's swollen, weeping eyes. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was documenting, building a case, because this fight wasn't on the curb. Not anymore. She'd staged it in front of the police, daring the system to do something, and the system had shrugged, told us both to calm down, and kicked the can down the road. The officers took names, scribbled notes, and handed out platitudes. Animal control has jurisdiction. We'll forward the report. Translation, not our problem. To them, it was a neighborhood spat. To me, it was a declaration of war. I led Teddy home, his body trembling, his eyes still raw and red. He didn't understand. He'd done everything right, and still, he'd been punished. Every whimper cut into me like shrapnel. I flushed his eyes. With cool water, whispered to him, steadied him. He endured it like a soldier, my boy. But the trust in his eyes, replaced now with a question, a flicker of pain. It broke me. I researched citronella spray until my eyes burned. Karen called it harmless. The data said otherwise. Respiratory distress, corneal damage, long-term trauma, assault by any other name. So I filed my report. Cold, factual, airtight. Photos attached. I knew it would sink into the black hole of civil disputes, but it was a brick. And you build a wall, one brick at a time. The next morning, the escalation arrived in a white van with the county seal. Animal control. My gut clenched to stone. Teddy lifted his head from his mat, sensing the shift. The man at the door wore khaki, carried a clipboard, and looked like he hated his job. Jack Dalton? Yes. My voice was flat. Officer Ruiz, animal control. We've received a report concerning your golden retriever. A report, I said. Let me guess. Karen Jordan. He didn't answer, just read from the page. Report states, your dog Teddy bit a child yesterday. The words landed like a body blow. A child? There was no child. Not yesterday. Not ever. Just me, Teddy, Karen, and 2 cops. It was a lie. A calculated, vicious lie. That's impossible, I said, my voice low and tight. There was no child. My dog was with me every second. Ruiz finally looked up. His eyes were weary, doubtful. Sir, I just follow procedure. We have a sworn witness statement. A witness. My mind scanned the suspects. Duke, one of her board, lackeys. The report had the whole story neat and clean. Bite happened before police arrival. Child whisked away by mom unseen. A phantom victim. Impossible to disprove on the spot. This is fabricated, I said, shaking with rage I could barely contain. It's retaliation. She's targeting my service dog. I understand, Ruiz said in that empty way people say when they don't. But procedure's clear. Alleged bite involving a child requires quarantine. 10 days. Where? I asked, though I already knew. The county shelter. The shelter. Concrete floors. Barking. Fear. The kind of place that would undo years of training and wreck Teddy's spirit. A death sentence, slow and cruel. No, I said. He's a task-trained service animal under ADA law. He stays with me? Ruiz flipped his clipboard, sighed. That allows one alternative. Home quarantine. Strict conditions. No walks, no outside contact. Confined to house and fenced yard only. And a sign. He handed it to me like it weighed. 100 pounds? Bright orange? Black block letters? Dangerous animal? It felt like a brand. That's not the worst part, Ruiz added, his voice softening now as if he finally realized what he was doing to me. Because this involves a child, an administrative hearing is automatic. Burdens on you to prove your dog isn't a danger. And if I can't, his eyes dropped. Standard order is humane euthanasia. There it was, her end game. Karen didn't just want fines or rules enforced. She wanted Teddy dead. When's the hearing? I asked, my voice barely audible. Couple weeks. They're backlogged. Weeks. Too long. And then he dropped the hammer. Complainant also filed for an emergency destruction order, citing the dog's alleged history of aggression. Supervisor review. Magistrate signature. Rare, but it exists. History? I snapped. He has no history. According to her statement, he does. That's enough to trigger review. You have 24 hours to submit evidence to the contrary. If not, and the supervisor signs off, we come back tomorrow to seize the dog. 24 hours. 24 hours to disprove a lie. 24 hours to find a ghost child that never existed. 24 hours to save my dog's life. He left me with a case number, an email address, and an apology worth nothing. I stood in my doorway with Teddy watching me, head tilted, tail still. He didn't. No, the clock was ticking. He just knew I was scared. At midnight, my motion light flicked on. 2 shadows at my gate. HOA shirts, clipboards. Post it fast, one whispered. Karen wants the block covered. I stepped onto the porch. Silent. They jumped like thieves caught in the act. What are you posting? Emergency pet ID ordinance, one stammered. It hasn't been voted on, I said. And you're taping it to my door during a quarantine? I filmed the flyer. Fake ordinance, no dates, Karen's name typed at the bottom. Evidence, still dripping. They They fled, shoes squeaking on wet concrete. The quarantine sign glared from my door. A screaming lie. Dangerous animal. My home wasn't a refuge anymore. It was a prison, and Teddy was pacing by the back door, tail wagging, wanting his afternoon walk. But we were on lockdown. I couldn't take him. Teddy paced, anxious and confused, his eyes darting between me and the bright orange lie taped to my door. My resolve hardened into something cold, sharp, precise. This wasn't defense anymore. This was offense. First priority, evidence, truth. Karen's house of cards wouldn't crumble with a breeze. I needed a wrecking ball. I needed video. The neighborhood was riddled with doorbell cameras and home security systems. Someone had to have captured her. I grabbed a notepad and pen, drew a map of the street, marked my house, Karen's, the confrontation spot. 5 houses with a direct or partial line of sight. Mrs. Gable across the street, the Millers next door, the corner house, Duke's place, and one more 2 doors down. Old training kicked in. You don't storm a field without knowing the terrain. This was my battlefield now. 3 hours left. First stop, the Millers. Young couple, usually friendly. Doorbell rang. Shadows moved behind the glass. Whispered panic. A minute passed before Mr. Miller cracked the door. "Hey, Jack, everything okay?" "Not really," I said, tone calm but steel beneath. "You might have seen yesterday's confrontation with Karen. Today there's a quarantine sign on my door. False report. Teddy supposedly bit a child. Animal control gave me 24 hours. I need your doorbell camera footage." He avoided my eyes, glancing at the orange sign. Fear. "We try to stay out of HOA politics. Karen, she can make things difficult." "Difficult?" My voice dropped to a dangerous edge. "She's trying to kill my dog. How difficult do you think that is?" He swallowed. "I'll check, but the subscription might have lapsed. Might not have saved it." A flimsy lie. Closing the door. Choosing Karen. Next, Mrs. Gable. Older woman, green-thumbed sentinel of the street. She opened the door. Sympathy etched into every line of her face. "Oh, Jack. I saw that awful woman go after Teddy. It was terrible. Do you have a security camera? Anything recorded?" Her smile faltered. "Camera? Oh, heavens no. I just have my eyes," I pressed. "Would you give a statement? To animal control? Police? Just tell the truth. No child." She sprayed him for no reason. Fear flickered in her eyes. She wrung her hands. I couldn't. Karen, she runs the architectural review. My new garden shed. It's barely up to code. I can't risk her wrath. Fear. Poison. Karen had seeded throughout the neighborhood. The threat of fines, letters, petty tyranny. Everyone too scared to tell the truth. Disgust coiled in my gut. 22 hours left. Corner house. No answer. 2 doors down. Renter. No access. Dead ends. Last hope. Duke. His house overlooked Karen's directly. Camera perfect. Duke answered, rag in hand. Dalton. Nasty business. Duke. I need your help. Camera. Faced her house. "You saw everything. I need the video." He shifted. Avoided my gaze. "Don't know. Camera's been acting up." I looked at the solid green light. Lie. Pathetic. "You know that's not true. She got to you, didn't she?" Promises. Approving. "That gaudy satellite? Ignoring that oil stain?" He flinched. "Stay out of my business. That dog's a beast. Good riddance." Slam. Door. I stood on the porch. Fists clenched. Rage burned, but I couldn't become the monster she claimed I was. Not yet. Deep breath. Another. I walked back to my house. Hostile, alien street. Windows judging. Orange sign mocking. Nothing. No witnesses. No video. Clock ticking louder. By early afternoon, I drove to animal control. Teddy watched from the window, eyes locked on mine. Painful, but rules were rules. The lobby smelled of bleach and anxiety. Supervisor Kim, steel gray hair, looked up. "Mr. Dalton?" "Yes, ma'am." I laid out the folder. Photos, lab intake receipt for the spray, midnight flyer. For the case file. She scanned. "Useful. If you hacked anything, I can't touch it." I didn't. "Witness affidavit coming today." Her eyes softened. "All right. Emergency destruction order under review. Credible counter evidence. By midnight can hold it for the magistrate. No promises." "Midnight?" She leaned closer. "I'm a dog person. Don't like liars using me." "Me neither," I said. We understood each other. Back home, silence thick. Teddy rested on my knee, eyes full of trust. I feared failing. 4 hours left. My phone buzzed. Email from the HOA. Subject line screamed, "Official notice from Greenfield Meadows Homeowners Association. Heart-hammering. Violations listed. Failure to control aggressive. Animal creating a public nuisance. Verbally threatening HOA president." Another lie. Stacked atop the first. Karen wasn't just trying to kill Teddy. She was trying to destroy everything around him. And me. "A premeditated conspiracy," Marcus said. "There's more," he continued. "She sent another email to the HOA board members, all 3. She calls Teddy a legal liability, me an unstable element. She convinced them that my presence was lowering property values. She pre-wrote the violation notices, the eviction letter. The board replied, "Sounds good, Karen," or "Whatever you think is best." Sheep. The witness? I asked. Did she name who it was? Better, Marcus said. The sworn statement to animal control? Not a neighbor. Her assistant, Sarah. The emails show Karen bullying her, threatening her job. "You work for me," she said. "You handle my problems. This is a problem." Marcus forwarded the chain. Lies, manipulation, cold malice, a digital wrecking, ball. Karen thought she was untouchable. She didn't know she was facing a man with a ghost on his side, a ghost who walked through firewalls. The clock ticked, but for the first time, I felt hope. I had the truth. Now I had to wield it carefully. The emails were a nuke, but a nuke you can't launch without collateral. I would alert my lawyer, subpoena the server before Karen could delete a thing. Admitting to hacking? Unthinkable. Marcus had risked himself for me. I wouldn't let him burn for my fight. The emails couldn't be the primary weapon. Sarah was. The coerced witness, the weak link. If she flipped, Karen's entire plan would unravel, legally. But how? Pleas wouldn't work. Threats might make her double down. I needed leverage. Timing, an opportunity. Hours passed in a heightened state of alert. I studied the street, memorizing the rhythm of the enemy. Noon. Karen left in her pristine SUV. Minutes later, a young woman in a sensible sedan entered Karen's house. Sarah. She looked stressed, shoulders hunched. A prisoner in her own job. Hatched a risky plan. Teddy's quarantine allowed him on my property. I took him outside. We started a slow, methodical drill. Sit, stay, heal. Routine, purpose, and observation. 20 minutes later, opportunity. The side gate to Karen's yard swung open. Out darted a small white Bichon Frise. Alfie, Sarah's dog. Sarah, on the phone, was oblivious. A delivery van approached. No time to shout, no time to think. "Teddy, stay," I commanded. He sat. Perfect. Years of training took over. 3 long strides, and I scooped Alfie from the street, heart hammering. The van swerved. Tires screamed. Sarah saw it all, dropping her phone. Pale, horrified. "Oh my God, Alfie, are you okay?" I handed her the trembling dog. "Just keep your gate closed," I said. She froze, then tears. "Why would you do that? After everything?" I stepped closer. "Because it wasn't the dog's fault. Maybe not entirely yours either." Her guilt poured out. "She's a monster. Threatened my job. My mom is sick. I didn't know. I lied. I'm so sorry." I met her gaze. "I have the emails, Sarah. I know the coercion. I know the lie." Her eyes widened. Shock. Realization. "What now?" she whispered. I gave her a choice. Fear or truth. Redemption. Help me stop her. For Teddy. For you. For anyone else she tries to bully. She looked between me, my home, the orange sign, and Alfie. War raged in her eyes. Finally, she nodded. "Okay, what do we do?" The tide had turned. At hours left. The HOA had scheduled an emergency meeting that evening. Agenda, community safety, and pet policy enforcement. Sham. The real goal, publicly crucify me. Karen wanted an execution. I was going to deliver one, just not hers. Sarah was my inside woman. She confirmed the meeting, 7 p.m. Binder full of evidence from Karen. Mostly anonymous complaints she wrote herself. I called Marcus. Change of plans, not using the emails as a threat. I have the witness. She's flipped. "Attaboy, Jack. What's the play?" "Walking into the lion's den," I said. "I need you. Tech support witness." "Say no more," Marcus replied. "I'll bring a friend." 18 p.m. My router died. Phone dropped to SOS. Cable sliced. Marcus arrived early. Marty zipped in behind him, a trunk of gadgets in tow. "Power?" I asked. "Yeah," Marcus said, attaching an antenna to my window. "Triple failover. Ugly but works. Phone alive. Stream tested. We're up. 6:42. Still in the fight. 6:45. Headed for the clubhouse. Marcus briefed me. Stream live to a private link. Local news and animal welfare groups ping. Failover ready. Quiet world watching. Inside, sterile room, beige walls, folding chairs, 30 residents. The Millers avoided my eyes. Mrs. Gable shrugged helplessly. Duke sneered. Front table, Karen Jordan and her 2 cronies. Deflated balloon man and scowl woman. Karen's eyes narrowed on me. Then Marcus. Phone on the table, aimed at her. 2 officers and a sergeant flanked the room. Standard. Procedure. Windows rattled as a car passed. Balloon thrown. Red paint streaked mulch. Unit outside. "No vandalism," the sergeant murmured. Karen entered, scented and smug. "You shouldn't bring dangerous animals to public buildings, Mr. Dalton," she said. "Teddy's home," I replied. "But you knew that." Her eye twitched. Filed. Karen rapped the gavel, shaking. "This emergency meeting of the Greenfield Meadows Homeowners Association is now in session. The first and only item on our agenda, the clear and present danger posed by the animal residing at 124 Willow Lane. The last stand of 124. Willow Lane, I couldn't take him. I watched him pace, confused and anxious, and my resolve hardened into something cold and sharp. I wasn't just going to defend, I was going to attack. My first priority was evidence. True. Karen's story was a house of cards, but a strong wind wouldn't knock it down. I needed a wrecking ball. I needed video. My neighborhood was a fortress of doorbell cameras and security systems. Someone had to have captured the incident. I grabbed a notepad and drew a map of the street, marking my house, Karen's house, and the confrontation spot. I identified 5 houses with a direct or partial line of sight. Mrs. Gable across the street, the Millers next door, the corner house, neighbor Duke, and one more 2 doors down. My methodical training from my old life kicked in. You don't charge into a field without knowing the terrain. This was my field now. The clock ticked. 23 hours left. I started with the Millers. They were a young couple, usually friendly. I rang their doorbell. Through the peephole, I saw a shadow. Mr. Miller cracked the door open. "Hey, Jack, everything okay?" "Not really," I said calmly. "Karen filed a false report claiming Teddy bit a child. Animal control gave me 24 hours. I need your doorbell footage from yesterday morning." He glanced at the orange sign on my door, scared. Oh, man. "We try to stay out of HOA politics. Karen, she can make things difficult." "Difficult?" I said, a dangerous edge in my voice. "They're threatening to kill my dog based on a lie. How difficult do you think she's making things for me?" He swallowed. "I'll check." But the subscription might have lapsed. A lie. A flimsy excuse. He chose Karen. Next, Mrs. Gable. "She was always in her garden." "Oh, Jack, you poor dear. I saw that awful woman go after Teddy. It was terrible. Do you have a camera?" "Oh, heavens, no. I just have my eyes, and I couldn't risk Karen's wrath. She's been letting my shed slide, but I couldn't anger her. Fear. A poison Karen seeded across the neighborhood. I tried the corner house. No answer. 2 doors down. A renter. No access. Last hope. Duke. His house faced Karen's." "Perfectly, Dalton," he grunted. "Nasty business. Your camera faces her house. It must have seen everything. I need the video." "Camera's been acting up since yesterday," he muttered. "Solid green light. Pathetic lie. You and I both know that's false," she promised. "You favors?" He flinched. "Stay out of my business." He slammed the door. My hands clenched. I wanted to break the door, but I couldn't. That was her plan. Make me the monster. I drove to animal control. Teddy watched from the window, trust in his eyes. Supervisor Kim scanned my folder. Photos, lab receipts, the midnight flyer. Useful, but no hacking, understood? "I didn't," I said. "A witness is preparing a sworn affidavit. Emergency. Order under review. Midnight deadline. The hours left. An HOA notice arrived. $1,250 in fines, lien threats, foreclosure. A coordinated attack. Animal control for Teddy. HOA for my home. Despair washed over me. I considered giving up. Teddy nudged me. Our reset signal. Loyalty. Family. Responsibility. Cold resolve replaced despair. A cornered man with nothing left to lose is dangerous. I called Marcus, my old handler tech wizard. Karen. Spray. Fake bite. HOA eviction. Emergency order. I laid out facts. Figures, objectives. Piece of work, he said. "I'm in. 30 minutes. Marcus cracked their website. Password, Meadows 123. Emails, sent items, her orders to Sarah. Proof. The emails were a nuke, but could I use them? Only as a backup. Primary target, Sarah. Coerced witness. I needed her to flip. I watched the neighborhood. Noon. Sarah arrived at Karen's house. Opportunity. Teddy and I trained in the front yard. A reason to watch. Alfie, Sarah's dog, bolted out the open gate toward the street. A delivery van barreled toward him. "Teddy, stay!" 3 strides. I scooped Alfie. The van swerved. Heart hammering. Sarah saw it. Horror. "Oh my God! Alfie!" "Keep your gate closed." Her eyes filled with tears. "Why? After everything?" "Because it wasn't the dog's fault. Maybe not yours either." She broke. "She's a monster." "Threatened my job." I lied. "I'm sorry." "I have the emails," I said. "You can choose. Keep living in fear or tell the truth." She nodded. 18 hours left. Emergency HOA meeting, 7 p.m. Agenda. Community safety. Sham. Karen wanted a public crucifixion. I had Sarah as my inside woman. Marcus and Marty set up tech failovers. Live stream active clubhouse. 30 residents. Karen and her cronies at the front. Officers flanked the room. Balloons thrown outside. Paint-streaked mulch. Karen wrapped the gavel. The first and only item, the clear and present danger posed by the animal at 124 Willow Lane. I stood, calm. Before sanctions, let's discuss the alleged bite. Karen. Nothing to discuss? Witness statement? Do you? Name of child? Parents? Police report? Hospital? The family wishes to remain anonymous. I laughed, humorless. I'm being evicted. My dog is scheduled for killing. What I fear is a lie you created. Are you calling me a liar? She shrieked. I am, I said, and I have proof. Sarah, unnoticed, stood, trembling, defiant. I'm telling the truth, Karen. There was no bite. Jack's dog did nothing. She sprayed him unprovoked, then forced me to file a false report. Gasps. Board members horrified. Duke jaw dropped. Karen. She's lying. Disgruntled employee. Dam broke. Fear gave way to truth. I have a notarized affidavit. Sarah held it high. Sent to animal control and district attorney. Marcus stood. Entire meeting live streamed. 500 viewers. News included. Karen panicked. Tried to flee. Mrs. Gable blocked her. The meeting became a mutiny. Power shifted. Karen Jordan was done. Calls from reporters. Viral broadcast. Public opinion delivered its verdict before a court could. Next morning, orange quarantine sign still there. News van outside. Neighbors waved. Duke scrubbed his driveway frantically. Animal. Control called. Quarantine lifted. Emergency destruction order voided. Apology. Relief washed over me. I knelt, arms around Teddy. We won, buddy. Legal battle swift. Emergency recall election. Board ousted. Lawsuit filed. Evidence solid. Sarah's testimony. Live stream. Emails. Court. Judge sharp-eyed, no nonsense. Karen's defense pathetic, my lawyer methodical, Teddy a service animal, ADA, protections. Judgment in my favor on all counts. Fines and liens voided, damages awarded, case referred to DA for criminal charges. Karen buried herself in lies. Karen sold her house at a loss. Moved states away. Board members resigned, apologized. HOA dissolved, replaced with resident-elected board. Donations made to Veteran Service Dog Organization. Sarah found a new job. We became unlikely friends. Community healed. Teddy honored Civilian Service Medal. Park named Teddy's Park. We walked there. Soft evening light. Leaf skittered across the path. How far will a man go to defend his own? Far enough. Until home felt like home again. Teddy pressed his head on my lap. Metal cool. Tail thumped. I scratched his ear. Quiet. Earned quiet. Peace.